Good afternoon, Colin here with Techout, and today we're going to be looking at the Clicks keyboard for the iPhone 16 Pro Max. And I had one of these on my iPhone 15 Pro Max, and I enjoyed it. So I did pick one up for the 16 Pro Max when it came out. I got it about a week ago, and I've been playing around with it, and I wanted to show you guys some of the differences between the iPhone 15 Pro Max version and the 16 Pro Max version because, well, obviously it's for a different phone. Size is a little bit different, but as far as the keyboard itself is concerned, they did make some improvements and stuff like that to the keyboard based on user feedback. One of the best things they added is MagSafe support because I usually carry my wallet around on the back of my phone, or I use a MagSafe charging stand or MagSafe car mount. So not having to take my phone in and out of the keyboard to use those is a big improvement. Backlit keys, all that kind of stuff is the same. Now they do have some stuff that they advertise on here that isn't exactly what I thought. It works, but it's not exactly what I thought I was getting, such as the shortcuts. So they have this new Clicks key down here, which is not on the first version. And this is basically if you go into the Clicks app right here. Let me go ahead and find it. If we go ahead and go into the Clicks app here, you can see you have your backlight settings just like you do on the other one. You have your timeout between 5 and you can do between 1 and 10 seconds. I usually just leave it at 5 just because it's right in the middle. But if you want the lights to stay on a little bit longer in between key presses, you can do that. And you can adjust the brightness as well right there. You can turn the keys on and off via the keyboard itself with, I think you hold, let's see, which one do you hold? I do not remember which one you hold. Oh wait, hold on, sorry, it's, yeah, the backlight shortcut right here is 1, 2, 3, and it says the globe. The app hasn't been updated for the new keyboard right here, so it is the backlight key right here on the microphone. I don't know why it's not, it's turning on and off right here, but it's not actually doing it in the app up to date as I do it. But anyway, so you can do that there, and then on here you have your caps lock, alt lock, soft return. So this basically lets you use the enter button as a send key in things like iMessage instead of going down to the next line. It works in some apps, not all apps will support that. Some will still scroll down to the next line. Cursor mode lets you use WASD and IJKL as a cursor, so you can go up, down, you can move your cursor around. Alt lock right here, backlight shortcut like I said, and then tab and control right here on the Clicks key. So I have mine set to the Clicks key, which is I think tab. And if you want to do a shortcut, what you have to do is you have to go into shortcuts. Oops. You have to go into shortcuts, the regular Apple Shortcuts app, and you have to create a new one. So I'm going to make one for X. So we're going to go to open app right here. We'll just do X right there, and we're just going to rename this to open X, and so we're going to save that, and then we're going to go over here to settings. We're going to go to accessibility, and we're going to go to, let's see here, let me find it, should be one for the keyboard. Actually, is it not in accessibility? It might be in, it might be under keyboard. No, it's under accessibility, I just gotta find it. Let's see. I was just in here the other day. Oh, keyboards and typing, duh, right here. So you go into accessibility, go to keyboards and typing, go to, you have to turn on full keyboard access, and then you're going to go to commands right here. So once you turn that on, go to commands. You're going to want to change this color to like whatever color your keyboard is. I'll show you why in a second. Auto hide, we'll put that on 1 second. And then these are all, some of these are going to be pre-filled in right here. These are just the Apple pre-done accessibility commands. You're going to want to clear all those out so they're empty, and then you're going to want to scroll down here to the bottom. I mean, if you want to use some of these like Control Center or whatever, you can do that. Like we'll actually map Control Center here to the, you're going to push the Clicks key down and push C, so it's really just going to do a tab C, and then hit done, and I'll show you how that works here in a second. And then you're going to go down to shortcuts here and then open X. So if we want X to open with a clicks key and X command, we're going to hit done right there. And all this is really just using tab and the accessibility. So you're basically doing, you're going to hold down the clicks key and then double click your command key, whatever key you set to, you know, open X or whatever. Or if I do C right here, you can see it pulls down Control Center. But since we're doing this via accessibility, you can see here it's highlighting something with that gray border. That will go away. Like that's why you want to enable that 1 second and choose whatever, you know, you use that color for like the keyboard or whatever color keyboard you have so it matches that, because it's really just doing this via an accessibility command. It's not something that's actually built into the keyboard, which is kind of what I was expecting. I was expecting it to be something in the, you know, like something you set in the Clicks app and it was actually using that key just as something other than just a tab key. If we set this to on here where it's control, I don't think it'll work anymore. Yeah, so since that is mapped to tab and X, it doesn't do anything. So we do have to have it set to whatever you have it set to when you do the command setup. So if you have it as control X, that'll work fine. But if you turn that on, then it's whatever, you know, if it's opposite, it's not going to work. One other thing that was kind of weird is they do say that this supports data pass-through. So if you want to, you know, plug this into a computer or CarPlay or something like that, you can do that with this USB-C port. You could not on the iPhone 15 Pro Max version. But if we head back into the app here, what you're going to see here is on the bottom of this kind of like where the firmware check is, it says keyboard mode right here. And if I go in here and I hit the 1, 2, 3 and spacebar, you can see it switches to data mode. So it'll toggle back and forth. Now data mode is the pass-through mode, and then hold the 1, 2, 3 and spacebar and hit spacebar and it switches back to keyboard mode. I don't know what the difference is. I asked them and they haven't gotten back to me yet because the first time I plugged this into CarPlay it did not work because I was not in data mode. So I was like, okay, well, that's weird. I don't know why you have to do that. I'm assuming that has something to do with the timeout, because if we go into settings here again, there is a timeout, and this is something I noticed on my iPhone 15 Pro Max version, is that this would use battery, like a lot of battery in the background, even when you're not using it. There is a battery saving mode where when you turn that on, it'll basically, whatever time you set it to between 3 minutes and an hour, it will disconnect the keyboard from the phone, so it's not consuming power via the USB-C port, and then you just have to tap a key and kind of wake it back up. I don't like that because if you open, like say you wake up your phone, you haven't used it in a couple minutes, the keyboard's gone to sleep. If you open up like messages or something and you go to send a message, your on-screen keyboard comes up, you start typing, but you have to wait for the keyboard to wake up before it'll actually start typing. So you just have to keep that in mind. It is a little bit kind of, you know, annoying and confusing until you get used to it. I do turn that off. We'll see how much battery it uses. But it was using almost like between 10 and 15% on my 15 Pro Max in a day. So it was sucking through some battery for something that wasn't being used constantly. So we'll see how this one does and whether I need to turn that back on or not. But the most I've used this keyboard, I've gotten around like 1 to 3% battery usage, but I do take it on and off time to time. But I'll leave it on for a full day and we'll see what we get. They did also change the key layout, not layout, but the key kind of texture. Some of them are sloped up, so it's a little bit easier to type, stuff like that. The case is a better material now. It's not as like flimsy in my opinion. We do have metal buttons right here, volume and your action button right there, power button over here. We do have a cutout for the camera control button, as you can see right there. And everything else is basically the same. This is the onyx color, and then you have your little kind of leatherette pad down here that gives you some grip to hold the case in your hand. They do recommend resting it on a finger and kind of keeping 2 fingers behind it. It is kind of top heavy, but it's not too bad if you're somebody that enjoys typing on a physical keyboard. It's definitely something you can get used to once you get used to holding it in your hand. But that is the Clicks keyboard for the iPhone 16 Pro Max. If you guys have any questions about it or want to see anything on it, let me know down in the comments below, and I can either answer in that comment or maybe I'll do a follow-up video after I leave this on long term. But I'm Colin with Techout. Don't forget to comment, rate, and subscribe, and as always, have a great day.